There are some people who are fans of fantasy and revel in its spirit and tone. Whether they be Trekkies, Star Wars fans, or Lord of the Rings fans, their unity is one and the same. They unite over a genre of make-believe that makes them feel greater than they are. Though some find it to be geeky, others find it to be exciting, inspiring, and perhaps most of all, great escapist fun. The following documentary is a tone poem to the superheroes in spandex. It's about a comic book loving costume designer whose side profession is of creating comic book character costumes. It's wearable works of art, admits Scott, and as a fellow comic book fan, this is something I believe to be true.
With the costume stuff, it's like it started out, as a kid. I always loved Halloween and loved dressing up, and I was always a Batman fan. Halloween would come around, and Mom would go like, "Well, what do you want to be for Halloween?" And I was like, "I want to be Batman." So as a kid, I was making my own, making it out of like, construction paper and things like that. And I'd get like scraps of material from my mom, and she taught me how to sew, and I started making superhero costumes and it just kind of grew from there. Started doing costumes for myself on Halloween and got more and more complicated. Well, I made Wolverine. That was the first time I had done anything with like a muscle suit, spandexy kind of stuff. There was such a response. That's what kind of led me to make more and more costumes. It's an opportunity to kind of step outside yourself, because you put on Wolverine and it's like people's like, "Oh, Wolverine's here," So, it's kind of fun. Get to act like somebody else. It's like you're wearing the costume that you made, but I think there's also just another level that you put to it when you actually bring the character to life, to really sell the character on the way that it is and not do anything that's away from the way that they would act. The hero is just so staunch and straight in one way that you could play him. But like villains, necessarily not being evil, but you can like make fun of people and stuff like that. It's like Green Goblin and mess with you and, get your picture taken with them and give them the bunny ears and stuff like that. At a convention and with kids, you have a certain amount of expected reaction when you're dealing with Captain Ohio around drunken, binge drinking college kids frenzied before a game. You never know what you're going to get. I actually had to bounce a guy off of it. Wolverine kind of spawned doing the whole X-Men team, which now at current count I have 13 X-Men figures. And Batman and Robin and Catwoman and Batgirl and Two-Face and Joker and some of the others like that. And then, of course, that turned into a Justice League. And then I got, Martian Manhunter. And I like playing the villains. I like playing the heroes. I love Captain Ohio because I can make that one up as I go along because it's mine. I think the fun of it is being a bunch of different things. Growing up reading comic books, I didn't like the way that they portrayed a lot of stuff. I remember watching the Hulk going, yeah, I'm gonna see the Hulk, this is cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, what, no gamma bomb? He injects himself with this? And then they had like, I think Daredevil in it, where he had like a black costume, looked like a ninja. It was Rex Smith. And then, Thor was even worse. Especially movie versions of costumes didn't look like the comic books. And I always like the comic book versions, and that's what I want to see up walking around. I would say my stuff is what I would call convention grade. Movie grade it's designed to be filmed from one particular angle. Mine is designed to be seen 360, be walking down among the people, not hiding things. I want to put across a very recognizable comic book icon, but have it so that it's able to be seen among people. That's a big part of it. And the look on their faces. And I kind of feed off of that. Get a handshake? How about a high five? All right. It's like the look on kids' faces. It's like when they come up to you and they've got that you know. It's like, you know, they don't say a word, and then afterwards you wouldn't shut up about, oh, did you see Spider-Man? Spider-Man was this, and Spider-Man was that, you know, like that. Even people that are like the artists and writers were at a convention, and Harlan Ellison was there. I was dressed as Aquaman, and my brother was wearing Hawkman. He wanted his picture with us. You know, that really made, you know, a big difference. This girl wheels up this real old dude in a wheelchair, and she says, my grandfather would like to get his picture taken with you. And I was like, oh yeah? And, you know, and find out this guy is Jack Adler, was, you know, the head of DC Comics for years and years and years. And he got out of his wheelchair to get his picture taken with us. That made it worthwhile for me, to see somebody that these are his characters and the response he's getting from my work. That's the payoff. That's the payoff. Well, it's hard sometimes to get in to do these things because, you know, it's an expense and it's something that's different. And there's a lot of people who don't understand it, you know, and they're like, geek, you know, and stuff like that. It's weird that they're quick to label that, but, you know, you just kind of got to take that as it comes and realize that there are a lot of people who don't like it, but the people that really do appreciate it makes it worthwhile. It makes me feel that, you know, what I'm doing does, you know, bring some enjoyment to people and some people can enjoy my work. I think that's a lot of times why artists do things is, well, the thrill you get out of seeing how people enjoy it. But it's something that keeps me busy. It's also, with some of the costumes, gets me the opportunity to use my creative side and my practical engineering side, like Cyclops and Wolverine. And I like the functional kind of bits and pieces, because if, you know, you can make certain things work, it's a lot easier to, you know, bring something to the character, to bring it to life, like the claws, the way they snap out and stuff like that. When you pop them out on people and they're not expecting it, it's like, whoa. Most all superheroes are all drawn in spandex. They were originally supposed to be like workout clothes, but they made them more colorful. They've got a certain look, and they should be done a certain way, and they should have that respect. And they always want to take everything and put it in black leather. Everything's like in black leather. And it's like, I'm just not a big fan of everybody being in black leather. It's like, I think that you can do these characters colorful and you can make them, you know, still true to the original. Thing that's great about it is when you get the right person in it, it looks great. Get the wrong person in it. A lot of things also is people do theirs where it's very flat and they'll go with just the straight spandex or whatever. And there's no depth to it, to make it actually look like the way it's drawn, where it's like there are black and white drawings with color washes in them. So you basically want to kind of do that, lights and darks and lots of color, to bring that out, plus getting the right people in it. When I first started doing this, I wouldn't let somebody wear a costume unless they were perfect for it, and then it started driving me nuts. For sometimes most people are looking for something like they want to spend $100 and expect that, you know, they can get like something gold in a week, you know, and that's not going to happen. It's a lot of my stuff that I make, there's a lot of hours into it. It's all labor intensive. You know, I may have only $100 in material, but, you know, I'll have, you know, hours. A lot of times I don't even keep track of how many hours that I do on the ones for myself. It's, you know, it's all about just getting them right, you know. A Wolverine or something with a muscle suit, you're talking about $1,800 to $2,000, you know, and it's all in the amount of pieces. I'll make it as complicated or, you know, as simple as you want it. If you've got a budget, I can fit it into it, you know, but I'm not going to make something for next to nothing. You know, a simple spandex suit is, you know, if it's custom made, it's going to be about $600. You know, start out with something like that, that's basic spandex, and, you know, so it's feast or famine. You know, I don't mass produce things. I don't do anything is just a one of a kind piece. That's why it's more expensive. But when you get something, it's what I would consider a wearable piece of art. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I won't make something unless I feel that it's good. I'm not going to put my name on something that I think is a piece of crap. I had worked for a costume company, and it kind of burned me out, because making duckies and bunnies and cute and cuddly things where they have their place and they're this and that, you know, whatever, and there are tons of people that make that stuff. I don't want to. As much as I'd like to make more money at it, I'd like to do this full time, you know, it's feast or famine until I can until I can find a way to mass produce or get licensing, or, you know, that's a big problem too. Everything that you see on any of my costumes, I made. But it's, you know, getting the licensing and getting the people with the money that would be interested in doing that. Keep plugging away, doing these conventions, eventually I'll meet the right people. San Diego was one that's really good for me. I ended up in Comic Book the Movie, that one, American Splendor, on HBO, David Letterman's show was out in San Diego. Usually by going out there, the trip is paid for itself, because I'll usually get like a commission for something from that, and it more than pays for the trip. You know, go out there and have a good time.
If we can have your attention on the show floor, Scott Crawford. Scott Crawford, you have some cast members waiting for you in the lobby.